Welcome. Welcome to Relationship TV. I'm Dr. Tammy Nelson, and today we have some great guests. Peggy Halyard and Doug Wilson are here to join us together to talk about working with couples. And welcome, Peggy, and welcome, Doug. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you.
So excited
We're
to be here.
Thank you.
So Doug and Peggy are a married couple. They've been married for how long?
14 years.
14 years.
15.
And they're already arguing about how long they've been married.
Oh, okay.
And typical couple.
Right.
And they do Imago relationship therapy workshops. They're workshop presenters, and they have a special, unique way of working with couples because in workshops working with Imago relationship therapy, they also are ballroom dancers. So they have a way of doing the dance together, and also they travel the world together. So the way that they work together is very smooth and intentional. And Doug is an attorney and a mediator, which adds an extra level of skill. And so I want to ask you both, and particularly Peggy, to talk about what is it like in a couples workshop, and what's an intervention or something that you can share with us here at Relationship TV?
Well, we love doing the couples workshops, and I have to say that it's almost a spiritual experience to see the transformation that happens with the couples during the workshop. But one of the main things we teach, and my favorite intervention, is the Imago Dialogue. And I like to refer to it, as Harville Hendricks is doing today, a safe conversation. And so we teach the Imago Dialogue, and I teach couples, there's a speaker and there's a listener. You have an assigned role that you both have a different movie, and when you're the listener, your movie's on pause. You're listening in a way you haven't listened before, with curiosity and non-judgment. And there's 3 parts of the Imago Dialogue. The first we call mirroring, and in mirroring we're reflecting back what we hear our partners say. And sometimes we think we're in dialogue, but we're really in monologue, because all we're thinking about is what we're going to say next. So this opens a door for couples to communicate and connect in a very deep way. And the second part of the dialogue we call validation. And what validation is transcending your world to look at the world through your partner's eyes. And sometimes couples are desperate for validation. And then the third part we call empathy. And that is, and I imagine you must be feeling. So I lead the couples through this, and various exercises, and a transformation can really take place.
So what I think I heard you say
Yes.
is that you take couples through this Imago Dialogue,
Yes.
where they mirror each other,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then you teach them how to validate and empathize.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that must be a very powerful experience in the workshop for people who, especially people who are doing it and learning it the first time.
Exactly.
Because like you said, most of us are thinking, okay, I'm just going to wait till you stop talking so I can talk and say what I want to say.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So if you had a pointer for couples therapists, what would be one thing that you might recommend, or a piece of advice that you might have for them?
Well, I think for couples therapists, to meet the couple where they're at, no matter where they're at, because some couples are high conflict. Some couples want to take their relationship to a higher level, so you want to meet them where they're at. And also to normalize where they're at, to absolutely normalize where they're at. And then sometimes I share my own experiences if it's relevant. And that seems to really, I think, help as well.
Yeah. Did you want to add something to that, Doug?
Well, I appreciate Imago. The training that I received along with Peggy is because they took me to where I was. I didn't have to wait until I was cured 10 or 15 years from now. I could start out right now in my relationship with Peggy and work on my relationship. And that's what I really enjoy working with the workshops, because every time we do a workshop, I really grow myself. I really enjoy hearing Peggy over and over again. And every time I do, I learn something new.
Oh, that's really nice. So every time you hear Peggy, you learn something new. That's really nice. So what's one piece of advice that either of you or both of you might give to a couple who's out there and struggling in their relationship?
Well, I would say to a couple that rupture is going to happen. Disconnection is going to happen. The most important thing is to repair quickly, because the longer you're disconnected, the further apart you get and the more stories you're making up. So I think that's so important. I think also we work on the issues on this side, but it's so important to fertilize the garden on this side. And I can't emphasize enough the importance of going out on a date. I advise my couples to go out on a date once a week. And the most important thing about the date, you don't talk about issues. You're building positive memories.
So you don't talk about anything
Right.
that's upsetting you or anything. You talk
Right.
about.
Right. Just have fun, build memories. And then also, I think those transition times are critical in relationships. What do you say to your partner when you first get up in the morning? How do you say goodbye? How do you greet your partner when you come home? And the last thing you say before you go to bed at night. I think that's so critical because those transition times there can be some conflict during those transition times because you're both tired when you come home from work. So I think that's really important because that person means more to you than anybody.
Super helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how can our viewers find you if they want more information about Peggy and Doug and help?
PeggyandDoug.com.
PeggyandDoug.com.
Peggy and Doug, all one word. Peggy and Doug, not dog. PeggyandDoug.com.
PeggyandDoug.com, so they can find out about workshops and Imago
It goes
therapy.
right to the workshop.
Right to the workshop.
Right.
So, last but not least, what's one super quick expert tip that you can leave our viewers with?
Be kind to your partner. Know that your partner is not you. And take responsibility for your part.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Did you want to give one too?
Repair it as quick as you can because it's very painful for me.
And we're disconnected.
We're disconnected, and the longer I wait, the worse it gets for me. And so it's better off if I jump right in there and say, "Hey, let's dialogue."
Right.
That's so nice. Oh, thank you so much for being here.
And thank you,
you.
Dr. Nelson, so much for having
Thank
us.
you for having us.
Aw.
Thank you.
Thank you to Peggy and Doug. And thank you all for being here for Relationship TV. This is Dr. Tammy Nelson. Please tune in next time for Relationship TV. And let's all make our relationships work.